Good morning. I'd like to welcome you to Marine Corps Base Hawaii. My name is Mike with Base Safety. And on behalf of Base Safety, I'd like to take a moment of your time and talk about traffic safety while you're here on the island of Oahu. And here, as you see on the island of Oahu, we have three major highways, H1, H2, and H3. They do have heavy traffic hours of 05:30 to 08:30, and then again in the evening from 15:30 until 18:30. So you want to make sure that you give yourself plenty of time to arrive safely at your destination. You have to be aware of road construction that is ongoing and be prepared for sudden stops. And then, of course, drive with aloha here on the island. And then if you look, we also have marked in blue the CAM Highway. This is a two-lane road. Car clubs and motorcycle clubs are often on these roadways, and be prepared to stop because people like to stop and take pictures. And then, of course, we have to watch out for people that are utilizing the crosswalks. And then here we see a picture of Marine Corps Base Hawaii from an aerial view. As you can see, it's a very small area, so please watch your speed. It is enforced. And then as you see here, a nice aerial view of the H3, some of the scenic beauty that you're going to see while you're here on the island. Now you can understand why people stop to take pictures. Oahu follows the same traffic laws as the rest of the United States. Unlike the mainland where drivers can be a bit more aggressive, the locals are used to being let in when emerging lanes, and you won't hear people honking their horns. There isn't an endless amount of space, as you saw from the picture of the Marine Corps base. It is an island, which means plenty of one-way roads. Pay close attention to posted street signs. Since parking is limited throughout the island, most street parking spaces have posted regulations, and ignoring these signs will almost always mean a ticket or a tow. Hotels offering parking for their guests, valet averages $35 a day, and there are several paid parking garages available for those visiting an area for a day. Make sure you find out local stores or restaurants you visit if they validate parking. If they do, get your parking validated. Criminal littering is a petty misdemeanor on Oahu. Littering, including from a vehicle, can incur fines from between $500 to $1,000. And please watch your speed. The speed limit for most freeways is 60 miles per hour. Stay with the flow of traffic. Most carpool lanes require 2 or more people. Oahu utilizes a zipper lane on the H1 freeway and Nimitz Highway Express lane to help ease Honolulu-bound traffic during peak rush hours. There are no toll roads on Oahu, and occasionally the zipper does go down, so it could cause some delays. Right-hand turns are allowed on red lights unless otherwise posted with a traffic sign. Hawaii uses the same driving limits as the rest of the country for under the influence. Driving with a blood alcohol content of 0.08 or higher is a DUI punishable offense. It is illegal for anyone under the age of 21 to drive with any measurable amount of alcohol in their system. The average cost of gas in Honolulu is about $3.40 per gallon, but is generally significantly higher in Waikiki. In the center of the island, in places like Mililani Town, gas can get as low as $3.20 per gallon. On other islands like Maui and Big Island, gas stations on lengthy remote roads can be sparse, but on Oahu you won't have too much trouble finding a gas station. The state has removed emergency roadside call boxes in 2013, though there are still a few left in operation inside the H3 tunnel and on remote west side of Yokohama Bay. In the Honolulu freeway areas with most traffic, the state offers a free roadside assistance service patrol that can be reached by calling 800-841-4357 or help, or call 911 for situations requiring immediate assistance. Bicycles, especially in Honolulu, are gaining popularity as an alternative mode of transportation on Oahu. Watch out for the light blue Biki bikes, because anyone can rent them and they may not be familiar with the streets. Oahu has had a recent uptick in pedestrian accidents, so paying extra attention to crosswalks and bicycle lanes. In more tourist-heavy areas like Waikiki and neighboring areas Ala Moana, visitors tend to get lost in their surroundings and try to cross the road without warning. As it should be driving in any place for the first time, added caution at intersections and vigilance while behind the wheel is essential. If you're worried about becoming distracted by the scenery along the way, hire a driver or tour guide to get you to your destination. Hawaii law requires children under the age of 4 to ride in a child safety seat, and kids from ages 4 to 7 in either a safety or a booster seat. U.S. citizens visiting from another state must have a valid driver's license if they are at least 18 years old. Travelers coming from another country must have a valid driver's license from their home country and be 18 or older. Rush hour on Oahu is from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. and from 15:30 until 1800. Construction throughout Hawaii tends to run on island time, so be prepared to see plenty of construction blocking the roads, even at the most inconvenient times. Sobriety checkpoints are common coming in and out of Waikiki, especially on holidays and special events. Watch for weather advisories and remember that the roads are extra slick during the first few minutes of rainfall. The tropical climate in the middle of the Pacific Ocean can be temperamental and come without warning. Potholes can be problematic during poor weather, another good reason to slow down while driving on Oahu. If there's a flood warning, choose the safer option and don't drive at all. Locals usually use the words makai and mauka when giving directions. Makai meaning the words ocean and mauka toward the mountain. In Honolulu, you'll also hear people using Diamond Head towards Diamond Head and Eva away from Diamond Head to give directions as well. Even though the scenery is beautiful, residents still have to get to work and appointments, so remember to check your rearview mirror and pull over to let them pass if necessary. As the third largest island in the state, Oahu is just over 40 miles long. It is impossible to drive completely around the entire island as the road stops at the westernmost tip of the Kina Point. It is possible, however, to drive in a loop along the eastern shore and back down through the middle of the island. This is the route that most visitors take to tour the island. Oahu residents are used to politeness on the road. That means throwing a shaka or friendly wave when someone lets you merge onto the freeway or stops for you at an intersection. Even though Oahu is part of the U.S., people tend to drive a little slower than on the mainland. For those that ride motorcycles, a few statistics. 48% of naval motor vehicle deaths involve motorcycles. 11% of all reported naval motor vehicle accidents involve motorcyclists. Motorcyclists are 35 times more likely to be involved in a deadly accident than automobile drivers. Most motorcycle crashes occur on the weekend, and 23% of all road traffic deaths are among motorcyclists. Here you've got your choice, suicide or safe ride. Which side are you on? If you're in the military, of course you know that you have to have a helmet, a jacket with long sleeves, gloves, full-fingered, long pants, and over-the-ankle footwear. So what we need everyone to do, whether you drive a car or ride a motorcycle, is become a defensive driver or rider with the C method. That's the search. Search for anything that could pop up, cause a problem. Evaluate. Evaluate your environment, and then execute. Execute your plan to avoid a dangerous situation. And then by the numbers, it's a big surprise that a large majority, 60% of the Navy and Marine Corps mishaps happened at night. 65% of the mishaps occurred off the installation. 62% of the individuals struck did not use a crosswalk. 16 of the Navy Marine mishaps reported involved alcohol, usually by the pedestrian. Another 25% of the mishap reports didn't confirm or deny whether alcohol was involved. We can safely assume it was probably higher. In more than 50% of these mishaps, inattention was a leading human factor. The pedestrian, the driver, or both failed to keep their eyes on the road or couldn't help recognize the hazardous conditions that led to the mishap. So as a note, a possible factor contributing to this inattention, but not recorded in WES, is the increased use of smartphones. I'm sure everyone here has a smartphone. Phones are proven distraction to drivers as well as pedestrians. The rise in national pedestrian mishap statistics began in 2007, the same year the first iPhone and Android smartphones were introduced. Coincidence or cause? The Naval Service have maintenance cards, PPE requirements, ORM, and safety measures to make sure we work properly and safely. The hazards that exist on flight lines or in the motor pools don't disappear in your home garage or driveway. So don't leave your safety culture at work. Make it a part of your auto mechanic toolbox at home as well. Don't take shortcuts with jacks or stands if you're going to work under a 2-ton chunk of metal. Choose a level, stable surface that will support the weight of the vehicle. Always use chock blocks to keep the vehicle from rolling when using jacks or stands. Use the owner's manual for the proper location of lift and jack stand locations. Never use a jack to support a vehicle. They're for lifting and lowering only. Use a jack stand that is rated for the weight of your vehicle. PPE isn't just for at work. Turning a wrench is turning a wrench, no matter where you're doing it. Long sleeves, long pants. Shoes should be on the list in addition to traditional eye protection and gloves. Plan for the inevitable. That's another way of saying apply ORM. If you find yourself cranking hard on the wrench to loosen the nut or spark plug, take a minute, have a sip of lemonade, or plan for a knuckle buster. Try a heavier pair of gloves or place padding where your knuckles are most likely to fly if and when the wrench lets go. If moving heavy parts, it might also be wise not to do it right above your face. The bottom line, on your next maintenance venture, take a minute to assess and mitigate any risk, protect yourself, and think it through before you do it. Again, in closing, welcome to Oahu. Please take your time, plan safely, plan your trip accordingly, give yourself enough time to arrive alive at your destination. Thank you.